Texas back.
But I plan to make well over 1,000. I don't plan on going to sleep tonight.
Probably go 71-68. UNC versus Kansas.
Why did that get bring up? Why are we doing that?
Woo suey, pig suey.
I would disagree with the hot hand part because, like I said, Longhorns won 19 of their last 20.
I hope it's not close. I hope Texas gets destroyed.
I think because I would have San Diego State in this matchup, I have to go UConn.
Texas friends, feel free to DM me on the Twitter, which you don't know, and that's for good reason.
Hey y'all, my name is Riley Dutcher, and I'm smarter than all you guys because I won Outsiders Opinions Second Bracket Challenge. Now back to Austin and Kevin.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to our NCAA Opinions of the Week without our special guest and March Madness expert, Jake. But, just scheduling things happen. But, of course, the man that I always record with, Austin.
Yeah, this has been a very interesting year. It's the first year with 14 teams in one conference. If we don't want to spoil too much how Kevin feels about it, we'll talk about it. But Kevin makes a lot of comments in tomorrow's video, which is where all 5 of our predictions are split up by region. And then the last one is Final Four National Championship. So please check that out if you need any help with your bracket or if you just want to see who we have winning. While I don't believe the SEC I don't believe they should have got 14 teams. It's not a crazy difference with what I believe they should have gotten. The team that I think really should not have made it is Texas. I thought Texas was going to have to beat Tennessee to get into the tournament, and they failed to do so. They lost by 11 points in the SEC tournament. And while that is against the eventual champion of the SEC, I don't think they did enough. They had a lot of wins in Quad 1. But a team like West Virginia, who I do believe also should have got over North Carolina, but that's not either here nor there. So do I believe they should have got 14 teams? No, but I don't think it should have been 11 or 12. I think there was 13 deserving teams and one team that I don't think should have gotten in, which was Texas.
Yeah, I think kind of what we talked about and what people have talked about is, and we previously talked about this with, I believe Jake was on that video, is this the best the SEC has been in its history? And of course, you have to say yes, given 14 teams. And yeah, you'll hear my thoughts on the bracket tomorrow. But yeah, I just was really surprised. You mentioned West Virginia. I am surprised Texas got in. And so it was just pretty exciting. I guess it's exciting for the SEC. Just kind of it already dominated football, but now it's really dominating basketball as well. Just kind of with the level of teams playing. Like you always had Kentucky, but it was always viewed as Duke. Tennessee is good in men's, but I think a bit more for women's basketball. But just kind of the level, I think, was pretty shocking. I am shocked Texas won. I thought they were pretty much out of it. And it kind of goes to see, like, do they get the benefit of the doubt because they play in the SEC?
Yeah. It's also, Texas bias, I don't think is necessarily a thing in college basketball that we've seen, but we've seen some generally favorable rankings in football. I still remember multiple times where they were not necessarily should have been a ranked team and they end up getting in. And I think the committee does need to make very apparent what they value. I think they were very inconsistent because if you're taking Texas because of their big wins, well, North Carolina has one Quad 1 win. So why are they in? Or if it's something that North Carolina did, well, then it's not what Texas did. So it's those teams don't fit together. And I think if the committee was a little bit more transparent about their process, and like you don't have to have the exact same bracket as all the bracketologists, sure, that's fine. But I think that there should be a clear way for teams to know, hey, what do we need to do to get in? Because I thought for sure West Virginia was in. And to put it bluntly, I saw this article the other day that there's about 111 like bracketologists that are considered like legit. And of the 111 brackets they made at the end, all 111 had West Virginia in. Not 50, not half of them, not 75% of them, 100% of them. All 111. So that a team missing that every person agrees, unanimous. It's hard in today's society for stuff to be unanimous, right? But for every
Absolutely.
person outside of the committee to say that team deserves to get in, that is considered an expert, right? Not just me, not just Kevin, but an actual expert. It doesn't make sense. I don't know why West Virginia didn't get in. That is the clearest. I don't understand it. I thought West Virginia wasn't even going to be a true bubble team. A bubble team is like the last four in. Like they would be on the bubble, quote unquote. But I didn't think they really had a good chance of getting into one of those playing games. I thought that they would be a 10 seed or an 11 seed because I thought maybe there would be 12 seed. I thought maybe like that Texas Xavier game would be a 12 seed game, but they kept it at 11. That has happened before where it was a 12 seed game. But I did not think West Virginia was even going to get a playing game. And if they did, I wouldn't have been mad. But them missing the tournament, taking that away from these players. And they said that the injury was a major concern because Tucker DeVries, but Tucker DeVries has been out all season. Like for to say that that's the reason why you have them missing, I think is very short-sighted and really is just an excuse because they were playing without him for a very large majority of the season, at least 80% of the season without Tucker DeVries. I think DeVries only played at most 8 games. I'll check really quickly, but I think it's very short-sighted to say that DeVries was the reason why they didn't. Oh, guess what? He played 8 games. I was right. But and while West Virginia was very good with him playing, and DeVries, when he played, was their best player. He'll be back next season because he got a injury season next year because he only played 8 games. But I think they still deserve to get in. Injuries, I think it's a stupid reason for a team to be left out. Because what else do you expect them to do? I mean, they won the games. If you're telling me that if you just place a guy on the roster, not wins, not losses, you just place a guy on the roster, now they're in, I think that's, like I've said 4 or 5 times now, extremely short-sighted.
Yeah, and kind of what you talked about, just the 111 all picked West Virginia. It is pretty shocking, and I do agree the committee needs to be a little bit more transparent and just talk about the conferences because that could lead to more conference realignment or teams moving like Texas, because I don't see Texas getting in if they have the same record if they're in the Big 12 like they were
Sure,
last.
but the Big 12 has been an amazing basketball conference the last 3, 4, 5 years. Probably the best over the last 5 years, no doubt. But this year they weren't as good as the SEC, and that paid dividends for Texas, 100%.
Yeah, and just kind of what you have said has been very true, and we'll have to see. And especially in basketball, injuries shouldn't as matter because it's a deep sport. Like you get into the Florida State quarterback injury, I can understand that a little bit, but yeah, with what you mentioned with West Virginia, him only playing 8 games, that is pretty shocking. And yeah, but kind of, I do think this goes to the point of it was the historically great year for the SEC, given that they had 14 teams make it to the tournament.
Yeah, that's a fair thing to say. Now, the question really is, did they deserve to have that many? And right now, I believe no. Now, it's not like I'm saying they deserve 10, but I don't think Texas should have got in.
Yeah, I'm very curious. How well does the SEC do during this tournament?
That'll be a huge storyline because of West Virginia being excluded. It'll be huge to see how the SEC does. The SEC has to prove they don't have to go 100% in the first round. They're going to lose games. Like it's not going to. You just have to go 50%. Like if 7 teams win in the first round and 7 teams lose, I think that's a reasonable win-loss. Right. So I think that'll be fair. But if only like 4 guys advance and it's just the 1 and 2 seeds that are SEC schools, then I do think we see a major questioning. Like if it's just Bama, Tennessee, Auburn, and Florida that advance, you're going to be like, well, what are we doing? Like why is it only those 4, only the really, really high seeds that make it? I think at least 7 teams have to win for them to be at least decently okay with their tournament performance.
Yeah, and I'm just curious how well they do, and we'll just have to see through all that. I'll let you close this one out.
Yeah, thank you guys for listening. Please let us know how you guys feel about the SEC, about how many tournament teams they got in, and how many wins they will have after the first round. Thank you.